what's happening, guys? It's me. I'm back again with another video. I figured I would put something out that actually meant something a little bit more than describing the perks in the shrine. I want to teach people how to get adept killers and how all of that works. When you go on discussion forums and all that, it can be a bit confusing, so maybe just hearing it and watching a gameplay of it happening could help a lot. It's relatively easy to explain how to get it. The gameplay is a whole different story. It has a different level of difficulty for each killer. How you get Adept Killer, how you get the achievement specifically, is by achieving Merciless Killer with just using their 3 unique perks. So that's straightforward. You can only use their 3 perks. For the Spirit, you can only use Rancor, Spirit, Fury, and Haunted Grounds. You can't use Hex Ruin, you can't use Noed, you can't use Barbecue and Chili, you can't use a 4th perk. You can only use the 3 perks. There are 3 unique perks and that's it. You can use add-ons and you can use offerings. To get the achievement, you can use a Mori, but I wouldn't suggest it, and I'll describe why in a minute. But first I want to kind of tell you how you can't get the achievement. If you're in a game, if you enter a game where there's only 3 survivors, meaning one of the survivors disconnects during the loading screen, and you enter the game with just 3 survivors, you cannot get Adept of whoever you're playing with. You have to get 16 points, and you can only get those 16 points by having the 4 survivors in the game. As disconnecting goes within the first 5 minutes of the game, and after 5 minutes of the game, I forget what window is the window you're looking at. I believe if they disconnect within the first 5 minutes of the game, you get the 4 points you need. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look into that. I'll make sure I figure that out before I completely post this video, and I'll put it in the description to kind of further explain that. But don't be discouraged if you only have 3 survivors, and if somebody disconnects, still try to get Adept. You might not. You might have gotten the points with them, you might not have. But if you enter the game with just 3 survivors, just play it like you're having fun. I wouldn't go crazy, because if there's just 3 survivors in the game, you're not going to get Adept. Now, the point system I was just talking about, most people, when you're reading a forum, it says that you need 4,000 points. That's not true, because you can get 4,000 points a lot of different ways in this game. To get Merciless Killer, there's a different kind of point system. You get 16 points. You need to get 16 points. You get 4 for each of the survivors, 1 for each hook, and then 1 for actually killing them. One for them actually dying. You don't necessarily have to hook them 3 times, meaning if you hook them once and they get through the entire ritual, you still get the 4 points. You get 1 point for hooking them, you get 1 point for them moving into stage 2, you get 1 point of the entity being summoned, and then you get 1 point of them actually dying. So a hook, a hook, a hook, a death, a hook, a stage change, a death. And I know that the 3rd stage of the sacrifice ritual is death, but it counts as 2 points. So that works in your favor. That's the easiest way to explain it. That's really all there is to it. The other way you can get points with survivors is by moriting them. I believe you get 2 points for moriting them. You need 4 points for each survivor. So what that means is if you're going to mori a survivor, they have to have either been hooked twice or have been put into the second ritual, the second stage of the sacrifice ritual. So don't mori the survivor unless they are on their last hook. That's the only way you will get adept, the adept killer if you mori somebody. That being said, it's very hard to play with Rancor without excitedly moriing somebody at the end of the game. I avoid moris completely when I'm doing adept, solely because I forget what hook they're on. I'll forget, maybe I'll get one survivor mixed up with another, and then I've wasted either a mori or, well, you don't waste the mori, but I missed the chance of adept, which is why I just avoid moriing and all that completely when I'm trying to get an adept killer. You absolutely can. I just told you how. But that's completely up to you. If you choose that you want to mori them, you can mori them. I personally just don't do it because I get a bit excited with a mori and I might jump the gun and they might not be on that second stage and I might miss the points. That's really all there is to it. If you want to have my opinion on the hardest, the easiest killers to adept, I'm honestly not a killer main, so it's actually sort of hard for me to describe that. It took me, I'll say this, it took me a long time to get Adept Spirit. My Spirit was a level 23 when I got Adept in this video. I got it in after this video. And I gave up trying for a while. I got Adept Hag really easily. I got Adept Cannibal on the first try. I think I have Adept Freddy. I have to double check. But also, those are some easier killers to play. They have strong perks. The Hag has Hex Ruin. The Cannibal has Barbecue and Chili. Franklin's Demise. Freddy has some great perks too. So those were easily done for me. I would probably say the Nurse is pretty hard to get Adept just because the Nurse is a hard killer to play. As for Survivors are a different story. I'm going to just kind of throw this in at the end of the video solely because why not? To get Adept Survivor, it's pretty much the same thing. You enter the game using just their 3 unique perks. Don't go in with lightweight. Don't go in with self-care on a Meg. Don't go in, go in with their 3 unique perks. Just that. You can have add-ons, you can have offerings. The only twist to it, the only thing that, for me at least, that I've noticed, is you have to escape through the exit gate. If you go through the hatch, I've never gotten Adept by going through the hatch. I believe you have to go through the exit gate. But that's as easy as it is for that. I would say for Survivors, the hardest 2 to get Adept are probably David King and Lori. I had fun getting Adept Lori though. I felt like Object of Obsession is a really fun perk to play with, and I just like doing that kind of stuff with the killer. David King is pretty hard. You enter the game already broken, and you see a lot of dark shit. But some other Survivors that are pretty hard to do are like Dwight, because Dwight has a lot of passive perks. Quentin has a lot of passive perks. The easiest survivor has got to be Claudette, because you enter the game with self-care. But it's fun. I'm a trophy hunter. Maybe you're a trophy hunter. You probably are, because you're asking how to get this done and you're watching this video. It's straightforward. They're pretty simple achievements. At least simple to explain. There are much harder achievements in this game, like where did they go, where all 4 survivors need to exit the hatch at the exact same time. Well, not at the exact same time, but somebody needs to bring in a key. You have to find the hatch. It's a whole shebang. It's hard to do, especially when you don't have a SWF game with 4 people and you only enter with 3, and you have to try to get the 3rd person to come. That's how I did it. It sucked. It sucked so bad. Also, there's achievements for hooking survivors 500 times, moriing survivors 15 times, doing generators on certain maps, and living to tell the tale. That's the way they phrase it, I swear to God. But this has been fun. It's another video that's out. I hope you guys can like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, help me grow, help me put out more videos, and just, you know, have fun with Dead by Daylight. I'm going to post another video about the new DLC and about the Decisive Strike rework, so look out for that. But until next time, you guys have a good one.